Hello everyone and welcome back to Jacqs Crafts. Thanks for joining me today for a Country Craft Creations design team project. And I have used Snowmen and Friends for my project, and what I'll be creating is some ornaments to go along with this. Now, these ornaments can be used for the winter holiday. They can be used for Christmas, but I'm even going to show you one that is a non-winter Christmas theme so that you see that you could really use this ornament any time of the year. So here is the ornament that I have created. We have a shaker ornament, and these are always fun to create. I found the shape on Cricut Design Space, and I created some of the elements to make this into a shaker, and I just love how it turned out. It's super fun and a great way to use this paper collection. So what I've done here is use some shimmer cardstock to create the base of the shaker card, as well as the outline here on the top. There's an acetate piece. We have our decorative pattern paper from Snowmen and Friends underneath that. I even used it a little bit up here at the top. And then I added a bunch of different sequins in here. I even put in some micro beads. And then I added a little glitter snowflake here at the top and cut out the word joy from the paper collection to add it there. I even tied on a little bow at the top. I think this is adorable. This is 4.5 by 4.5, a perfect size for an ornament. So if you have a winter tree, you could put this on there, or you could save it for Christmas. It's never too early to start creating Christmas crafts. For the next ornament that I created, I used Bloom Where You're Planted, and this is another Country Craft Creations paper design. And here is this ornament shaker. Lots of fun. I love the idea of doing one for spring, since I'm not really one to craft for Valentine's Day. This says spring has sprung. I added a bow here at the top to top it off. We have some metallic ribbon as our hanger, the beautiful paper in the background, as well as here on top. And here is the back. Now, these would be great little ornaments to make and actually send to other people. You could write your to and from or message here on the back. How fun would that be to receive something nice like this? And then they can just put it right on their tree. You could even hang this in the window if you wanted. Lots of ways to use it. So in this one, I added some white and gold hexagon sequins so that it would go along with the bee theme. And then we have some other sequins in there, as well as micro beads. Super fun to make though. So when I created these, the first one that I made, I cut out 4 of the outline here on the top, and then I glued all of them together and then glued them to the base. For this one, I only cut out 1 of the top outline, and then I used foam, 1/8 of an inch foam to go around it. And that did give it a little more room for the sequins to move. But this worked as well. If you don't have foam, you could certainly cut out at least 4 or 5 of the outline so that it would give it some depth and that your shaker bits can move around. They actually move really good, just sometimes they still get stuck when they get layered on top of each other, but this moves around really well, even though it is just stacked cardstock. So I just wanted you to know that you can do it with using foam or without. Now I cut out another ornament, and I thought we would create that together so you could see how I've done it. And I will also provide my Cricut link so that you can get the images and cut your own ornaments. So anyways, let's get started with the actual tutorial. So I'm going to show you my preferred way of creating these ornaments, and I started by selecting a shimmer cardstock that I had in my stash, and I've cut out one base piece of the ornament. And then when I was first doing this, I was cutting 4 of the little outline pieces. So I already have 2 of them glued together, and I've already added adhesive tape around the top of it, 1/8 of an inch score tape. And I'm going to be using some foam adhesive tape. So this will give it lots of depth for everything to move around with no problem. So I'll be using those. I cut out one of the ornament pieces in acetate. And then I cut out the center decorative pattern paper. And for this, I used the Snowman and Friends collection. This is where I got the whole ornament idea. So this will be glued down here. So let's just go ahead and do that. Now, the original ornament had a snowman on it. So it kind of sparked this idea. But then I thought, why not make it a shaker? And then I changed it to not use the snowman that actually came with the Cricut file, because I wanted to use this paper collection. So the file itself has this area here for a snowflake. So I'm using that. However, what I did was try to cut this off, and I added those files to the one that I'll be sharing today in the description box. So you'll be able to make one with the snowflake area or one without, and it will be like this. So I just wanted you to have both options. Now, to decorate this, I really kind of wanted this to be a little bit simple, so I fussy cut this image from the journal card in the 8x8 paper collection. I just love this. It's so cute. The way that he has that star in his hands, I don't know, I just love the whole thing about it. So I wanted to use this image. Add this down on my paper. Make sure you get that down really good so your beads don't go underneath it, and lift it up. And then I'm just going to trim this piece off. After I put the acetate and the top layer on, I'm going to then add the snowflake. But right now, what I have is the little word believe that I cut out of the border strip in the paper collection. And I wanted to put that over here. I just think that's so cute. So you actually need to place your snowflake so you know where to put the word. So I think that's a good placement. So I'll just remove that now. And now we're ready to move into the part of creating the cover for it. And I already have my sequin mix here. I just did a little mix of some like bronze color sequins. I have some clear, some blue and brown in here. And then I've added some yellow stars and yellow micro beads. I think that's a nice little mix, and it goes really well with my snowman. So you want to make sure you have your mix all ready, and we'll be pouring that out here in just a moment. If you're not using foam adhesive, like I mentioned before, you're going to want to cut 6 or more of these outlines. Glue all of the pieces together except for one. Then you're going to add your acetate on top of that stack of outlines, and then you add your final outline on top of the acetate. For those of us with foam adhesive, you're going to cut out 3 of the outlines, glue 2 of those together, add your 1/8 of an inch adhesive tape to the top of that. I didn't do it on this little loop because you don't really need to. I just used regular glue on that. And I actually cut that bit off when I cut out the acetate. So I'm going to remove the backing here on the score tape. I hope I'm making sense. I'm sure you've probably seen lots of people create shakers. I like to do them. You kind of get sucked in once you do one, and then you got to make more, and that's exactly what happened to me. Okay, so we have the adhesive exposed. I'm going to bring in my acetate piece. And for this one, I like to start lining it up down here at the bottom where the snowflake part is. Just found that's better. And then lay it around the rest of the ornament. Now when you do this, if you have any acetate hanging over the edge, you can just trim that off. And then burnish this down really good because you don't want there to be any holes where your sequins can come through. So now I'm going to take this one, add my adhesive around here, and put that over the top. Okay, I have my adhesive on there, and I'm going to add my top piece. Now what we want to do is add our foam strips to the back of our acetate piece. Now when you're doing this, just make sure that you're putting the snowflake in the right corner. So we want that to be down on the left-hand corner. I found the best way to add the foam adhesive is to maybe even just put a little bead of glue around here as well, just to make sure the foam is sticking. And I start up here at the top and then work my way around. What's nice about using the foam is that you can actually curve it around the circle. It was a little harder to do with the score tape, but you could still do it. And I use the score tape because then you don't have glue squirting out everywhere. Okay. When you add your pieces together, make sure you butt them up really close so that there's no holes in between them, no gaps. And then I go around and kind of smush it down just to make sure that it's on there really good. Now we're ready to pour our sequin mix into the center of our ornament. Now you might be wondering about this dish. I'll show you here in a moment. I got this from the Dollar Tree. It's a mixing tool set from Crafter Square. Now, it came with these 3 pieces, and I thought this would be good for mixing sequins, but you know what? I'm not sure if it is or not. It's very like rubbery. It's very strange. Everything is rubbery. Even this. So as you can see, it's like making the micro beads are sticking to the sides. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get those all out of there. But I'm going to try here. If I thought it would be hard, you know, like a hard plastic, but it's not. I imagine you can use this for resin, and maybe that's why it's so flexible. I don't do resin, so that's why I thought I could use it for this kind of mixing. Now, it was the perfect size to do the mixing of my sequins, but they stick. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I guess that's as good as I'm gonna get it. I mean, I'd have to just get in there with your fingers. Craziness. Okay. Ooh, I got quite the mix going on in there. So you want to make sure you have all of your sequin bits in the center. And if they run away, try to catch them. The micro beads are really prone to wander. And now we just take off our adhesive backing here, and then we stick this down. Easy peasy. I'd say the hardest part about doing this is that the time it takes you to make your sequin mix. Because I'm using Cricut Design Space and my Cricut to cut this out, it really wasn't that difficult. Another helpful hint is to use your corn flour bag and to rub that around on the inside of your acetate. And then that way your micro beads won't stick so much. But you also want to make sure that you're not de-gluing your foam adhesive. So I'm just going to add some glue just to be sure. Here we go. And now we add our snowflake. I'm putting it right on top of the acetate as well. And shall we give it a shake? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, look how cute. I love it. I must say, out of the 3 that I've made, okay, well, I'll give you the helpful hints in a moment. Let's finish by adding our hanger and bow. Okay, I have some ribbon from my stash. You need about 6 inches or so. I really didn't measure it. I just took off a chunk. So let's see what it is. So it is about 9 1/4. I just put it through and tied a knot. If you know a better way, please share. I would love to know. Now for the bow, I do have this cute blue one. I think that looks okay. What do you guys think? Matches the little hat. I think the hat's blue. Who knows? But I love it. Oh my gosh, so fun. After doing the 3 different ways, this one I used 4 outlines. This one I used foam tape and 1 outline. And in this one, I used 3 by the time we got done, and foam tape. 3 outlines and foam tape. And I think this is the best one. It feels sturdier and it shakes so much better. And maybe it's the sequins that I used. I don't know. I did use dimensional, like slightly cupped sequins in all of these. So I don't know. I just think this one is better. I just love that. This was the whole inspiration. This is the first one I cut out. And then I did this one because, you know, I wanted to show you guys too. So I would recommend doing this. Now, when I first created this, I added a pattern paper at the top of the bulb so that it actually looked like a real Christmas bulb, because it's usually gold or silver at the top, and then you have your design down below. And I really liked that. And I actually cut out a piece to go with this, and somehow along the way I've lost it or I forgot about it. I don't know where it is. I've looked all over. I can't find it. So what I did was, on the cut apart sheet where the border strip is, I took this piece. And when I did all my cutting, you know, when you cut out the outlines for these, you end up with the innards, of course. So I cut off that part and used this as a template to cut out a piece that I then added here at the top. I then also used this again to cut out a piece of acetate to put over that, just so that it would all be cohesive on top. Now that's a little OCD, I know, but yeah, that's me. So I like that now. It looks really cool, and it truly does give you that bulb appearance. So I just wanted to come back and just make sure that I mentioned that to you so that you can see it there. Now on the B one, I did not do it because, you know, it's basically covered by this gigantic bow. So it wouldn't have really mattered there. But I like that a lot. Just loving these. So that is our project for today. I hope that you have enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun to create these, and I hope you'll give them a try. I would love to see someone do this in Valentine's. I think that would be really nice, even though I don't craft for that. But I just think this would be so fun to do in all different kinds of styles. And if you create them, please tag me or post pictures on the Country Craft Creations website or on my Facebook. It's Jacqs Scraps. I would love to see your design. And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future videos. My next video will be the start of the 8x8 interactive mini album, and I'm looking forward to doing that. So I'll see you then.